again, Fairhaven Town Administrator Keith Hickey with the latest edition of Town Report for the week ending August 28th, 2026. Hard to believe summer's almost over. Remind everybody, if you do go to the beach, there are no lifeguards at the beach anymore. They finished up last Saturday, so please be careful if you happen to go in the water. We did have a select board meeting on the 24th of August. Got a lot of good things done. Started out with Public Safety Complex Committee coming in seeking the board's authority to spend up to $50,000 to obtain an RFQ, or a request for qualifications, to do some studying to see if there's a town building that we could potentially use, or town property we could potentially use for a public safety complex of some kind, and if not, a private building of some kind. The board supported that. We then went on and asked the board to approve the long-term debt issuance for about 10 or 12 different projects, most of which were water and sewer projects that had been approved from 2020 through 2022. For water and sewer projects, we had borrowed money temporarily while the project was going on. Now that the projects are done, we have to borrow money long-term to pay that off, pay those projects off. The board approved that. The interest rates we got, I believe, were just around 4%, so that was good to get. We were happy with that, and those bonds were approved by the board as well. Moving forward from there, we had a presentation from the consultant that we use for our energy costs in town. We're going to be looking at seeing if we can get some grant money and identifying locations in town that would make sense to put some modern vehicle charging stations in around town. So the individual who made the presentation, Mr. LaFave from Weston Sampson, just made a quick presentation. There's a number of different locations, both on town property and potentially off town property, that we'd be looking to put charging stations on. There is grant money available out there, so there'd be no cost to the town. One of the things that I've done in the past, and it's up to the select board on how they want to proceed, is to allow or to have a vendor continue to own the charging station, so the repairs, maintenance, and upkeep of that charging station is not the responsibility of the town. We would lease them a spot on a town piece of property and receive percentage of the revenues that come from those charging stations. So to have a private company continue to retain the ownership of these charging stations and have it be profitable for them and makes a little bit of money for the town would be beneficial. Really, we're trying to provide a service, not get into the charging station business. We then had a couple of requests to approve a couple of events. One is the COA 5K run on the 4th of October. It was approved, and then the use of the town hall for the Girl Scout Awards ceremony on September 9th. Those were both approved by the select board. There was an appointment request from the Historic Commission for Haley Hemingway. Haley was approved for that position. Thank her for being willing to serve. We then had our budget working group, public safety representative who was interviewed, Mr. Kevin Gallagher, who is a Fairhaven resident, was the former Acushnet fire chief, was also on the Fairhaven Board of Health for 3 years, had applied for the position and was approved. So we thank him for his interest in that. Chairman then went through the volunteer opportunities that were available. So we're going to try to do that on a more regular basis to make people aware of the different boards and commission openings that are there. There's a number of board and commission openings that are available. If you go to the town website, on the front page, in the middle of the page is a spot called Quick Links. If you look in there, there's a volunteer opportunity tab. If you click on the volunteer opportunity tab, it'll bring you to a table of different board and commission openings. So if you're interested in any of those, come to apply on the website. If you need some information on any of those committees, there is information on the website about all of those as well. So I have people to try to take advantage, and if you want to donate some time to your town, it's probably one night a month. We could use the help, so please consider that. Moving forward, we had a public hearing for a new Class 2 auto repair, auto body license to sell 2 cars at the former Artistic Auto Body, Artistic Towing, to Stealth Collision Incorporated, doing business at 98 and 99 Middle Street. That was approved. There was a request to establish a Fairhaven Tourism Committee. That was ultimately passed over at the request of the person who submitted the request at that point. At the board meeting on August 10th, the board discussed appointing a new town council. There was a lot of discussion about whether or not to go out to bid. So put together a request for proposals from legal firms. I presented that to the board for their consideration. They made one small change, and then we'll be advertising that, interviewing legal firms for town council and potentially labor attorneys at the same time. We may go with one firm. We have the flexibility to go with 2 different ones if that makes the most sense for the town. There was then an assistant town administrative finance director, and I requested that the town authorize us to reach out to the state. They will do a 5-year financial forecast, independent 5-year financial forecast for us that we can compare with ours and make sure that the information we're presenting to the community, to the select board, to the finance committee is accurate, so they approve that. So they'll be starting that process in the fall, which should work out pretty well. I think it'll be in time for budgets for fiscal 28. We then went over my recommended town administrator goals. There was, again, one small change the select board made, but those the board adopted some goals for the upcoming year. I'll be presenting those, an update on those goals on a quarterly basis at least. They've been uploaded to the town administrator's page on the website. So if anybody's interested or has any questions, they can certainly check that out there. And then we had a handful of items that were determined to be surplus equipment that we'll be selling off. If people are interested, there's an auction that's held the third Saturday in September. So if people are interested, most of the items are pretty inexpensive items, but you're welcome to take a look at those items and decide if you're interested. Try to buy those. A couple of other things just to make people aware of. The town of Fairhaven did get an additional $470,000 grant to complete the Union Wharf construction. The town had originally received $1 million grant for the same project. Bids came in higher than anticipated, so we were fortunate to get $470,000. That project will start this fall, and we hope to have the project just about completed, probably just asphalt in the parking lot to be done in the spring. Lastly, if anybody's interested in applying for a community preservation application to fund grants to support historic preservation, open space, housing, or recreation. Urge to do that. There's information on the town website. Applications for the community preservation grant are due to the town office building by Friday, October 2nd at 11 a.m. So if you have any interest or any questions, please feel free to reach out. Be happy to try to answer any questions you have. Next week, there'll be no meeting, and then we'll meet again on the week of Labor Day, I believe. So with that, I want to thank you very much for watching. Hope everybody has a great week, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thank you.